focus ought not to be the panicky short-term measures, but long-term solutions.
Exactly.
So salary cuts, you think, are not
because
they're a quick fix, but will they achieve the necessary momentum we need for the development?
Now, the problem is, even if we do salary cuts, if we have no long-term solution on where we should take that money, then it will be maybe salary cuts that will go to fueling now, to other things that are not very important for us. But the good thing is, if we have a long-term solution, the irony of Kenya is we don't see to establish really which is the best way to there, because as I said at the beginning, we talk so much of how much we are at par South Korea, but we don't realize how South Korea got there.
Yes.
We don't realize and follow, because the path has been cut. Why don't we follow it? Why don't we embark on establishing landmark industries?
Let me, you see, as the youngest elected leader in the National Assembly, you represent quite a bit. Okay, you can be said to be a reflection of the aspirations of youth in this country. A lot of effort is being put into the youth, the Ways of Fund, the Youth Development Fund, and all these things. Are they sufficient to uplift the youth from the unemployment, joblessness, poverty?
Okay, it's worth noting that what I'm speaking now, it's not really out of theory. It's much out of practice, because I was one of the first beneficiaries of the Youth Fund. When it was rolled out in 2007, there was a program known as Believe, Begin, Become, and it was a very nice program, and I liked it. And we were choosing young people from all over the country, and we were put under intensive training by the government in conjunction with TechnoServe on how to begin businesses, and it really empowered us a lot in terms of knowledge, in terms of even practical business. That's when I just published my first novel, and out of that, I had a lot of business ideas that helped my first novel rank as a bestseller in the Sunday Nation for 5 times. And actually, it was out of those returns that I began a book donation program in my constituency, which has really boosted academic performance a lot. And so I believe it's a solution, but the problem is, I'm afraid there is no clear-cut way of saying how do we use these funds to help a given number of people. Because you may put aside R1 billion to help the youth, but then 5 people borrow it, and the 5 people employ just 20 people, let's say. So there's no clear cut. It's a noble idea, but the more it grows, the more it generates ideas. So even today's forum, I'm very much in support of it, because it's part of the discussion through which solutions will come. Because if we don't keep talking, then we don't keep generating ideas. But now it's in this conversation, in this national debate, that my contribution to the ideas being generated by fellow Kenyans, my contribution to the discussion is this: let's establish a way of developing landmark industries. And you know, in Kenya, in developed countries like the US, the government does its part, and then the entrepreneurs do their part to establish industries and all that. But in a young nation like Kenya, you discover the government is the custodian of the resources, is the custodian of knowledge, and is the custodian of the best practices. So unless the government intervenes, then our private entrepreneurs may not have the muscle to do what is needed for Kenya. So somehow we must intervene, and we can even borrow lessons from some of the countries I've mentioned. Samsung was a small fishing company, but through the intervention of the government and protection from foreign competition, that's how it grew to be the big company we know. When companies like AIG Insurance and General Motors collapsed in the US, then the government has the mandate to come in and build them out. So we as Kenyans, and as the public sector, the government, we have no option of leaving the role of industrialization just to the private sector. We must come in and motivate them, and that's what I'm proposing through the bill I presented to the legal committee, to the legal department of Parliament last week.
What about imports? What do you think about imports? Do you think what import we need it?
If we don't produce it locally, then we must import it.
We import toothpick.
As part of empowering the local industries, for instance, because we can't protect local industries long enough. We've kept COMESA at bay for long enough, And the only way we can keep them out of the country is through empowering our local industries. So that if sugar comes to the port of Mombasa, when a kilo is, let's say, at 40 shillings, then we must look for solutions, the way we can make Mia Sugar, Sony Sugar, and other sugar-producing companies of this country produce local sugar at the same cost. Yeah, because part of the industrialization is creating practical solutions for the industries that are already there, that they can compete globally. Yeah.
Interesting, Mheshimiwa. You know, you have a lot of feedback, people approving of your thinking. You are a spar of ideas. Somebody says, I totally agree with the younger leader. He seems to be one of the few leaders who is thinking. His ideas are more valid than most of those selfish politicians. I'm proud of him. That's Mwangi from Nairobi. That young MP is so brilliant and practical in the current parliament than all stock MPs and even appointed government secretaries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I support Honorable GAtobu. The only way to reduce wage bill is by constitutional change, e.g. doing away with MCS, you know, and so forth and so forth. People, you know, appreciating what you're saying. Before we close, maybe I should just ask you one question. There's a proposal, of course, I've heard everyone targeting constitutional commissions, that they're too heavy, they need to be reduced to 3 in each commission. Of the 9 commissions, there are only 9, but it looks like everyone is targeting there. Others are saying reduce the numbers, as you just pointed out, across the board. We have too many, you have too huge a bureaucracy. You just listed up to the ward level.
Yeah.
People say also Parliament is too huge. First, just your comment about that, whether Parliament should also, okay, elected office should not be reduced, in fact, to cut the cost, because you guys consume a lot of money. And 2, how has it been, you being the youngest MP in that forest of 349, the National Assembly, working there? I don't see you shouting much.
I had an agenda, and my agenda was first for Buuri and then for Kenya. As they say, charity begins at home. So when I launched my career in politics 1 year ago, I first embarked on developing Buuri. For those of you who understand Meru, Buuri is the Meru word for a desert. So I could not really I could not feel comfortable contributing a lot to the national scene if my constituency was doing badly. The district was established 5 years ago, and since it was established, for instance, my first agenda was education. It has been the last district in KCP for the last 5 years. So I felt unless I commit my time and my resources to the grassroots, then I have no mandate really contributing on the national agenda. So that's why you not had me shouting a lot. I've been the grassroots, seeking what I can do for the people. And in just 10 months, we really thank God we've come from very far. In 10 months, Buuri has risen. We have 9 districts, 9 constituencies in Meru, and we've been number 9 all along. In 10 months, in this year's KCP, we've risen from number 9 to number 6. In the KCSE, we are number 3 in the entire Meru County. And we produce the best girl in Meru County, and the best boy came from the school that I'm the patron of, the old boys, that is Nkobo Boys, because it's not my constituency, but it's a school I love so much.
Kubu, yes.
Yeah, Nkobo Boys. So that's why I've not been shouting so much in the national scene.
Okay.
But now I feel Buuri, we are a step ahead. We've established we've established about 19 health centers within 1 year. We've done 2 major health camps supported by Safaricom Foundation and Diabetes Management Institute that have in total addressed the sicknesses of about 10,000 people. We've done a lot.
Okay.
With the support
Definitely,
of
I think the people of Buuri must be proud of the MP, because I'm seeing the flood of messages here. They're saying congratulations, they're proud of you and all the things you've done. And well, okay,
so now that's why I want to bounce back now to the national agenda, especially through the strategic youth industries bill. That's the first bill, and I'm really praying we get done with it to the next 1 year.
Okay. What about the parliament? Reduction of the members. Constitutional amendments to reduce across board, not just other positions.
No, let's first take an audit.
We cut down the number of members of parliament. So huge.
My proposal is, it begins by first knowing where do we want to go and how do we get there. So let's first take an audit on what are these people really doing. Let's not just be emotional, as we did, because the constitutional solutions we are seeking now are the same things we passed in 2010. So I propose we first take an audit and ask ourselves, what do we want to do? For instance, there's a question you asked me and I was not point blank in answering it. whether I support pay cuts. And if I would be assured whether my salary would be reduced even by 90%, and that 90% would
trickle down
to the people of Buuri, I'll be very comfortable.
Right.
Because, for instance, one of the strategies that we've used to boost education in Buuri is Buuri education welfare.
Yes.
I donate my personal salary. I donate, and fellow scholars from all over Buuri donate their personal resources. We buy revision books for the kids. We buy computers for them and all that.
So if we say that money, we don't want you to do that. We want that to be channeled through the right processes.
If I would be assured that money would come from me and go to the people of Buuri,
and
see a clear track of how that benefits are being rolled out to the people,
yes.
I'll be very comfortable with it.
Okay.
Very comfortable.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable GAtobu Kinoti MP for Buuri,
yeah.
and the youngest member of Parliament, discussing the wage bill and all those issues about creating jobs for the country. Keep watching Breakfast, Power Breakfast. We'll be back.